I speak from a land long assigned to the zone of non-being. I was born in Bafatá in 1924, where a child learns early that the colonial order is the instruction of disappearance. The colonizer does not merely seize territory, he confiscates mirrors. He names, classifies, and reduces until the native confuses silence with peace. My childhood was an apprenticeship in that silence, and an apprenticeship in its refusal. In Lisbon, Portugal, I studied agronomy, the science of soil, and discovered that the earth is not neutral. Under occupation, even rainfall is political. A seed is a thesis about the future, a harvest, a plebiscite rendered in grain. The colonizer desires the yield without the people, the fruit without the tree. An agronomist among the colonized therefore faces a choice: collaborate in the calculus of extraction or read the soil against the empire that misuses it. I chose to read against. Return is never simply geographic. It is the movement from object to subject. With comrades in Guinea and Cape Verde, we established the PAIGC, not as a club of rage, but as an instrument of recreation. Decolonization is not a change of flags, but it demands that the colonized, long trained in doubt and dependency, practice a counter-pedagogy, learn to name themselves, to govern themselves, to imagine themselves. The struggle is military, yes, but first it is epistemic. I taught the cadres that culture is a weapon and that the first battlefield is within. The colonizer's most enduring outpost is the native elite who craves the master's chair more than the people's freedom. I called for class suicide, not the abolition of persons, but the overthrow of a social habit welded by privilege, the liquidation of the little colonizer enthroned in our appetites. Leadership is not an elevation, it is a renunciation. A revolution that flatters its leaders will corrupt its people. War is violent. It cauterizes while it cuts. I do not romanticize it. But when the colonizer monopolizes violence and calls it order, the colonized must repossess the capacity to decide their own risk. Violence, in this context, is not savagery. It is the dialectical affirmation that the native is no longer a thing. In the ambush and the assembly, in the village meeting and the patrol, a new subject emerges, one who no longer asks permission to be real. I argued with Europe as a son argues with a father who denies paternity. I said, the African is not a belated European. Our history is not a parenthesis in your narrative. We do not seek entry into your museum. We seek the closure of the museum that displays living peoples as exhibits. We seek to stand, naked of illusions, inside our own time. They will say my death on the 20th of January 1973 was the end of a chapter. It was an annotation in the text of betrayal that colonization teaches so well. But assassinations do not defeat processes. They only test their integrity. Betrayal has a smell, metallic, familiar, like old coins in your grandfather's pocket. The body is embushable. The idea is not. Understand me precisely. Independence without transformation is a costume ball. I measured rainfall and found it insufficient. I measured the people and found them enough. The colonizer will call this naivete. He has to. He is invested in our incapacity. If you must choose, choose the village that builds a clinic over the capital that builds a monument. For the clinic prolongs life. The monument prolongs vanity. Make tomorrow plausible, not theoretical. If you remember me, remember not my name, but this method. Start from the people, return to the people, and in that circulation become people yourselves. Only then does the nation begin.